Edge City gathers people working at the frontiers of tech, science and society in what we call pop-up villages around the world, which basically means we gather about 1,000 people to live together for a month in an environment that's really created for experimentation, innovation and imagining what society of the future could look like.
Edge City began as a continuation of Zuzulu, which was a temporary village where we explored new ways of living, collaborating and building technology across 2 months in Montenegro. What we saw there was something very powerful. When the right people gather in the right place, the future actually feels tangible because you're living in it. So what we began to ask was, what if we could create more of these environments? Pop-up villages around the world where people could prototype what comes next, together. That's where the spark of Edge City came from. Since then, we've brought Edge City to Thailand, Denver, and California, and all over the world. And now we're here in South Africa.
In many ways, it's quite meaningful for our team. My co-founder Janine is from South Africa. Our colleague Timour grew up in Cape Town, so he's very local. And what we've wanted to do is in these 10 days, create kind of a varied experience that gives our community a sense of what could be possible here if we did a full Edge City pop-up city. So this Edge City South Africa is our first expedition that we're doing in order to essentially scout what it could be like, but not just scout with our team, actually bring 30 of our community members, especially folks who are local, folks from around this region, and then we've had about 15 folks fly in as well.
Lisk has partnered with us across the entire journey, helping support all of the events, including the Builder Day, field visits, and the full arc of the exploration.
When we do our pop-up cities, we have several principles that we focus on. We talk about creating events that are co-creation and build focused, so everyone that comes is involved in co-creating what the gathering is. We create multi-generational events. So we have everyone from like kids to elders and everyone in between. We create default healthy events because we believe that it's important for us to create spaces where we can actually be healthy without having to work super hard for that. And then the fourth principle is multidisciplinarity. And that's kind of a key thing that we've been able to show here. We've done things from hike Table Mountain, a braai, which is like a South African barbecue. We spent time with the University of Cape Town, their faculty, and met some of their young student founders who are all working on startups and got them engaged in this idea of actually plugging into a more kind of international startup ecosystem. We had the Edge City Builder Day, which brought together South African founders and founders from around the African continent, people building in biotech, people building in AI, people building crypto and blockchain, climate tech. It was just amazing because so many of these founders were starting to meet each other, and even though they actually live in the same city, they hadn't had a chance to build that community. Interesting true innovation happens at the edges where fields intersect. And so when you have an AI founder and a young blockchain developer meet and have substantive conversations, there are really interesting things that come out of that. For us, we're excited to create these environments where people can try out new ideas, they can experiment with not just the technology and the science, but also things like education systems. Things like, how should we raise our children? Things like, how should we live together? And what's cool about doing this in different parts of the world is that we get different lessons from those areas. And we're also seeing how we can bring energy and innovation and really kind of harness all of the amazing things that's already happening there.
This expedition was a focused exploration. We wanted to understand the local innovation ecosystem and see what might emerge from deeper connection here amongst the people who are building.
Already been a very enriching experience, both personally and meaningfully, but also for the longevity of the project that we're going to do.
So over 10 days, we have met students, founders, farmers, and educators, people doing meaningful work in this community. And And all along we asked, could this be a place where we partner together for a future Edge City? Could we build something enduring here? So how does a temporary village leave a lasting mark? Well, what we try to leave behind is momentum, which is forged through the relationships and the shared context and the belief in what's possible when a community comes together to build a better future.